What's up guys, Bloodshed here. I thought I would just share some bounty builds for Diablo 3, Season 15 specifically, patch 261. These builds are Bloodshed approved builds. These aren't necessarily the best bounty builds, but they're very chill, effective, easy to play, and just what I particularly run. You might be wondering, I wonder what Bloodshed would do. And if anything, these ideas might spark your own ideas for your own builds, and we can share them in the comments below. Coming up first, we have the Talrasha Frozen Orb Wizard, and I'm gonna jump into a bounty as I just talk about some key points of the build itself. The first thing you'll notice right away is the mobility. Okay, we have damn near infinite mobility as you traverse the map for bounties. Well, that's a dead end. Arcane power on crit on the source, aka the offhand, is really what's helping, plus a lot of our abilities is working together to give us resource regen back. In addition, you are proccing your set bonus continuously as you're moving away, so you always have your set bonus, and you have really good mobility. No cooldown, so there's no cooldown requirement in the build. That's pretty awesome. And here's the Cave of the Moon Clan. Maybe we'll find a rainbow live on the video. You can group them up with Rancer's Folly. I love Rancer's Folly in the build. The Storm Armor is working also in the cube and giving us an 80% damage reduction, so you're moderately tanky, I would say. You have great movement speed, no cooldown reliant, and a lot of people are going to be playing Wizard next season, so all the builds will be in the description, by the way. So don't fret, you know, Blood's got you covered with some of the chill builds around. Always the lazy, and always the chill builds, right? And if you're curious, all these builds are rocking 800 Paragon only, no augments or anything like that. So yeah, only real testing around here, or that early game, early season testing, depending on how much you play. For Necromancer, you can play Trigul or you can play Rothma. Both are good. The good thing about Necro Trigul is you don't have such crazy resource costs. Look how many mages I can have with one tank versus Rothma, you know, it burns like all your resource because Singularity empties the whole tank for the resource regen. So Blood Mages are cool. Let's go ahead and jump into a bounty and we can talk about it. One thing like Wizard, it has incredible mobility. Blood Rush is on a 5-second cooldown, so you basically have Blood Rush up the entire time, right, as you move around. Really good mobility. A good bounty build as well. One of the downsides is you have to number lock or you have to hit Cannibalize. So that's one downside compared to the Wizard that we just talked about. But it might not be a downside. It's not that hard to number lock. Most people don't care. I personally stream a lot, so I'm always clicking on multiple monitors. It's canceling my number lock. One of the highlights of the build, though, again, is the mobility, the movement speed, the kind of passive damage you're doing with your pets as you're moving around. You can see it's very fun, in my opinion, an aggressive play style, because you're just constantly casting, constantly porting around here. It feels really aggressive, right? And then you have Devour proccing in between to get you those, get your health back, basically get your resource back. Necro in general is squishier than most classes, most builds. But this is pretty good. Your single target's amazing with Wizard and with Necro on these builds. The mages just all work together in tandem just to do insane damage. And I would definitely recommend Blood Mages. And then Rothma, I will include a Rothma build in the description. But it is a little bit slower just because it does more damage. It's a little bit slower just because of the resource. You know, you're only getting so many mages per. In a T13 situation, you are killing everything. But in bounties, sometimes you don't kill everything, you know? One thing to note is the Aura of Frailty as you're running by is hitting everything with curses. You can see the curses over here. And we have a passive that lets the curses last nearly forever. That's Eternal Torment. And that's staying with Dainties, right? It all kind of works together to keep up your damage reduction as you're just running through the rift. Because a lot of the bounty builds, you're running to objectives versus T13. You're staying, you're fighting. You can use a gold wrap. You can use Avarice Band. But in bounties, specifically, you're just constantly moving. So you need to be able to survive a lot of these onslaughts of enemies. Sometimes winged assassins are jumping on you and you can't, it's inefficient to stay and fight. You just kind of want to travel through. And I think Blood Mage does a really good job with that. This next build needs no introduction. It looks like we're rounding out the intelligence classes here. The Helltooth Chicken Pet build If you've never seen this before, feast your eyes on this, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Crazy burst of movement speed with Severance, and then you turn into a freaking chicken. So let's go ahead and pour it in here before I pop it. Bing! And then you pop out, cast all your abilities. Your pets do the damage. Really amazing build, classic. One of the most iconic speed builds, I'd say, here in Diablo 3. Again, no reliant on Ingeom or cooldown reduction. No relying on anything, you just go. That's a common theme with bounty builds and goblin builds, is you need to be able to move without any kind of crazy circumstances attached to it. No stipulations, right? One of the things about Witch Doctor is they kind of have a built-in cooldown reduction on one of their passive. It's called Grave Injustice. I'm gonna get back far enough so I can pop it. When enemies die around you, it lowers the cooldowns of your abilities, basically. So this is really amazing. You have built-in Ingeom, kind of, right? And this is what helps with everything. So I'm killing everything, all my cooldowns are back. I go to the next pack, or, you know. Up next we have the Crusader, or the Crusader. Sorry. Some of the highlights again. Again, really good movement speed with Pony and Wings of Angels. I like to use both. Insane damage. Crusader is one of the hardest hitting, if not the hardest hitting character for one attack. In the game, it's up there, right? And no reliance on Ingeom, like we talked about. You do need, there is a CDR requirement. It's 56% cooldown. This will be the first build where we are starting to introduce specific cooldowns, but you know, if you play Crusader, you're pretty much used to using 56%. Really chill build. You can even rock a Sage set. You don't really farm elites when you're doing bounties, but I mean, you could, because you're just hella strong. Why not, right? One of the downsides also, there's a lot of weapons, a lot of shields. It might be harder to get the items you need early season. You'll be playing Roland, so you won't have access to the Roland set, or you won't have access to the Akon set right away. But it's really powerful, and you could probably get by with like a ghetto starter, like a non-ancient ghetto set, because it is really powerful. It does hit so hard. Next on the chopping block, we have the Barbarian. Now in Season 15, we get the Wrath of the Waste set, but I decided to go with IK6 Raycore 4. Whirlwind drops off big time early, like T13 drops off, until you get a lot of Paragon. Look at this monstrous build. There is a breakpoint in the build. You do need 40% cooldown to help with the charges, but even when you run out of charges, we have Chelonics Chain in the cube. I'm not gonna charge here. And we have Sprint, so we get a lot of movement speed, even if we're not using charges, right? So I have 3 charges as well. I'm getting my charges back constantly. You can see I'm at 3 charges still. I think this is amazing. I didn't think I would like this as much as I did as well. Really powerful build, incredible single target, lots of crowd control. You can build it a lot of different ways. We're using Warzekian as well. Band of Might's giving us a lot of damage reduction. We're basically like not gonna die either. Again, 800 Paragon, not really optimized fully. I lost all my barb gear, man. I rebirthed my characters last season. I lost all my barb and necro gear, so we're struggle busing a little bit on those characters. Can you guys believe what's next? Get it? The Demon Hunter. Now, this is pretty much well regarded as the best bounty build in the game. It's the UE set with multi-shot. My favorite setup is the Cindercoat with Pride's Fall. So we're getting stupid amounts of CDR. 30% from Cindercoat. 30% from Pride's Fall. And the Yang's Recurve Bow can roll up to 50% CDR. Just from this, plus you can get on other items like your brace, your shoulders and things like that, your gloves, if you really want to fully optimize. Insane. Sustain. You do have to manage your resources a little bit, but I'll do a long run just to kind of showcase like what's one of the worst. Act 5, that's a good start. Kill Adria. Okay, let's go kill Adria. I just popped on my cooldowns in advance on accident. So one of the things you need to know is cast your generator. Your generator is going to give you discipline back. That's what one of the set bonuses does, is it just constantly gives you that discipline. So as you're traversing, you just kind of, you keep up focus and restraint anyway, and you attack. And as you're killing things, you're getting resources back, and you're attacking. It's not bad. You can even, if you know you have your cooldown coming up, you can just hold down the button and go crazy, right? And then use your discipline, and now we're back at full discipline. So this is a really good build. We're using Cindercoat, so make sure you use Trail of Cinders, not like Tumble or something like that. The damage is based off of your current discipline. So just know if you try to DPS at a certain point, you're not going to have any damage. So just keep an eye on it. But this keeps up your discipline pretty high. Like we have enough discipline to kill like anything to one shot. Like right now, just boom, you know? And look at my weapon, non-ancient weapon, 164 multiplier, really trash stuff. Like we test here with like the salt of the earth, man, the working man's builds, right? Like I don't really fudge any of the results. Like I just want to just give you guys the most realistic, fully tested information I can. You can use Warzekian as well. And as you're shooting, you're breaking things and you get that boost of movement speed. But I'm thinking early game with a low Paragon, low introduction, right? Like this is gonna be like the best type of stuff for you guys. That's why I'm using this for survivability, because we are still running through enemies and we need to be able to survive, you know. Later when you get lots of Paragon, who cares? Go full glass cannon, you know what I mean? But early game, I think you're gonna need a little bit tankiness. So you can see the Adria kill, no problem, and incredible single target. I would say really good mobility. The cooldown is not bad. You only need 37% cooldown, so that's super low breakpoint to hit, and it's the best build. No matter what you go with, you're gonna have fun. For monks, I decided to go with a cooldown based build. So this is the only one where I went bananas with cooldown. You got to go Wave of Light. It's too good. This is the build you're probably going to augment anyway. So there'll be some crossover there. You'll be extra powerful because you'll have augments. We have less than 1 million cheat. And it is what it is, man. All the builds, no CDR requirement, but monks, I'm gonna go with the Sun Wukong Wave of Light bounty build. We are using Obsidian Ring of the Zodiac. So every time we cast Wave of Light, we're actually getting cooldown reduction, right? So the whole build is designed around alleviating the fact that we are using cooldown reduction. When you have Ingeom up, probably some of the best mobility in the game. When you don't have it up, probably the worst bounty build, but it's not horrible because we have all these things that are helping us get around the map as much as possible, right? Everything is kind of helping. So you can see like insane. If you have Channeling Pylon also, you can get to objectives faster than anybody, but when you don't have it, not so much. I'm using Kiroshiro's belt because a lot of times when you're about to fight a boss, there's that cutscene and you lose your stacks, right? So then it's like pointless. You have to build up your stacks. It's just inefficient. Or, you know, there's some bounties where you have to like loot the pillars, do the thing, and you're looting and your stacks fall off. So Kiro is like god tier for bounties. Like you have to carry this belt, man. And I went for Vengeful Wind, is going to give us crazy damage also on top of it. Late game, you definitely want to switch to Nemesis Bracers and not use Pintos. I feel like early on, you need that extra damage, like super early on for T13 and crowd control, all that stuff. But later on, definitely switch to it. As soon as you feel like you can handle everything, switch to Nems. That's going to proc your Ingeom faster and you're going to be getting around the map. Season 15 is almost here. I'm so excited, man. Is it just me? I get so geeked out over new season starts, man. No matter what. Double bounties? Sure. Double goblins? Why not, right? Bring it on, baby. I love me a new Diablo season. I can't wait to experience it with you guys. We're gonna be doing a 24-hour stream. I have a giveaway in the description. Join us for launch night. Also Sunday, I'm gonna be streaming 10, 12 hours. It's gonna be a good time. I think my main is gonna be Wizard. I'm like 90% sure. 10% chance of Necromancer, Spawnage. But I might have like a dual main like Necro and Wiz. I'm not sure. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you have an incredible season. If I don't get to talk to you, follow me up above at twitch.tv/bloodshed. And I'm out of here. Peace.